In this video, I'm going to share with you one of the more important lessons that I think I've shared here on my YouTube channel, and that's covering the basics of improvisation. This is something that I teach to players of all levels, whether you're just starting out and learning how to improvise, or maybe you're a player that's been playing for like 20 plus years, but you find yourself in a rut where you have trouble playing consistently good melodies or consistently good phrases or solos that have lines that all feel like they go together and have forward momentum. If you're having any of those issues, stick around for this lesson. I think it's going to be really helpful. Now, before we get into it, that backing track that you just heard me playing over, it's free for you, and it's something that you should grab and use. It's going to be a great practice tool for all the lessons that I'm going to share with you in this video. If you want to learn that solo I just played, note for note, check out the Masterclass. There's a link to that down below with a discount. I'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the lesson. Okay, let's talk about the basics that you're going to need for this lesson. You're going to need to know at least an E major scale and understand some basic scale theory, knowing that all the notes of the major scale are given names. We call them scale degree names: root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root, and some basic triad theory, knowing that triads are built by using the root, third, and fifth from a scale, and those are the building blocks for chords. If you know those basics, you're in good shape. It's going to be a fun lesson. If you know how to do that already, all over the neck in a million different places, you're going to have even more fun with this. All right, now ground zero, where I start, everybody who's new at improvisation or that needs to be brought back to these basics, is to start by targeting chord tones in a really systematic way. And I know a lot of you are probably like, oh man, I already do that. I know how to do that. Stick with me, because the way that I'm going to show this to you, I think it's going to give you a way clearer way to practice this stuff and help you out with really understanding how every chord tone sounds and feels against a chord, and how that sounds and feels to a listener, and having a good command of playing what chord tone where is going to help you play solos that are more articulate, that tell a better story. So we're going to start by targeting the root of chords. And the root is going to be the most finite note to target. And that's like the period at the end of a sentence, you know, the roll credits. If you play a phrase that lands on a root, that's it, right? So we're going to start by playing over the E chord, and then I'm going to talk about the progression for that track I was playing over in a second. But first thing I want to do is I want to pick a destination. I know I want to play E, but I don't know which one yet. So I want to pick a destination first. That's number one. I'm going to pick this E here. Okay, now I have my destination. Now I have to figure out, well, how am I going to get to my destination? You can start on any note in the scale you want. And here's three simple approaches that you could start to use. You could walk up to it. You can walk down to it. Or you could dance around it and kind of enclose it. So those are 3 simple ways to get to your destination. The second thing is you might have noticed that every time I got to my destination, I stopped playing. I left space. I wanted to be clear to the listener that I'm done with my statement. That was a phrase. And by doing this, this is going to help you avoid the kind of instrumental diarrhea or the run-on sentence of soloing where someone's just playing nonstop and never stopping. You never get a sense of any kind of phrasing. All right, let's add another element to this. Now I want you to avoid playing on the downbeat of a measure or playing on the downbeat where there's a new chord change. I want you to start playing before and take me, the listener, into the chord change or into beat 1. So if I have an E chord coming up, I might start playing on beat 3 before. So like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Now you can pick any rhythm you want, but the point is that I'm picking a rhythm that starts before the downbeat, pulls me into the downbeat of 1, and I have my destination note also lining up with the downbeat of 1. That's going to create a greater resolve and a bigger payoff, especially if there's a chord change happening. By doing that, now you're playing phrases that have forward momentum to them. They're pulling you forward. You're not thinking in this boxy measure by measure kind of way, which is not how we hear music anyway. We want to play lines that kind of float over bars and that are pulling the listener forward. Now, everything I just showed you, now we want to apply that to the progression. So our progression is in the key of E. We have 1-4-5 progression, E, A, B, and we're going to start playing over these changes here. So when I'm playing over an E chord, I'm going to target an E, the root. A chord, I'm going to target an A. That's the root. For the B chord, I'm going to target a B. And I want to keep all these things in mind when I'm doing it. All these examples I'm going to show you are going to be without this backing track at first, because I don't want you to get into any old habits or feel like you want to start jamming. I want you to be able to really take the time and work on this stuff. All right, so first phrase, I got to pick where I'm going to start. Oh, I'm going to go into this E again, and maybe I'll go to that A and that B. But for every phrase, when I land, I'll have time to kind of think about my next destination. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, nice melody. There was clear phrases, clear destinations. You might have also noticed that all of that seemed to go together. And there's a reason for that, because I was always targeting the root. So even though the root changes from chord to chord, that note's relationship to the chord always stays the same. And that becomes a familiar sound to the listener. And we like patterns. We like something familiar. We always like this balance in music of something new and something familiar at the same time. So I'm giving you a new root, but the familiarity is that it's still a root. And then I'm finding new ways to get you to that root. So that's something I want you to practice just with the roots. When you feel good with that, you can throw on the track, try it with the track. Now we're going to do this with the third. The third is going to bring out the quality of the chord more. Is it major? Is it minor? It's like the most unstable note in the triad is the third. Some people will call this like the sweet tones or the sweet notes. If I had to give it a punctuation, it would be like an exclamation point. I don't know. But this is going to, again, bring the listener's ear more to the quality of the chord. Is it a happy sound? Is it a sadder sound? Right? So now I have to think about what are the thirds for each one of these chords. Okay? When I'm on E, I'm going to target G sharps. That's the third. When I'm on A, I'm going to target C sharps. For B, I'm going to target D sharps. So let's go through this now. I'm going to keep everything the same. I'm going to pull you into every change. 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'll go to that third now. Maybe this one. And maybe this one. Okay, again, another really nice melody that all felt like it went together because I was targeting the 3s. Let's do the same thing with the 5. Now the 5 is kind of a question mark. The 5 is going to feel like a very resolved, more stable chord tone to land on than the 3rd, but a little bit more of an unanswered question. And we're going to be able to play with that in a second. So for E chord, I'm looking for a B. For A, I'm looking for an E. For the B chord, I'm looking for an F sharp. Let's try this out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, right? Now, for some of you, you might be uncomfortable landing on 5s or landing on 3s and might think that, oh, this sounds wrong. You just have to get used to doing it. It just means that your ear is not accustomed to it, but it's happening in music all the time. You're just uncomfortable doing it. So stick with it and make sure that you're targeting those things and you're not changing it last minute to a root because you're uncomfortable hearing a 5. This is as much of an ear training exercise as it is an improvisational exercise. Okay, one more thing I want to show you that's going to create a question-answer kind of phrasing within our solos here is to alternate between a phrase that lands on a 5 and a phrase that lands on a root. So remember we said the 5 is kind of a question mark, and then we said the root is very finite, feels like the period at the end of a sentence. So now we can kind of play with those sounds and create a conversation within our solos. So I'm just going to have to know where all those are in these chord changes and alternate. So my first phrase will land on the 5 of an E chord. My second phrase is going to land on the root of the A chord. Now I'm going to land on the 5 of the B chord. And then the root of the E chord. I could do that again. 5 of the E chord. Root of the A chord. 5 of the B chord. And then 5 or root of the E chord. So we have this question answer phrasing that's going on now. And that's something that's really fun to play with. And it really does come across in your solos. All right, you have 4 different improvisational exercises here with different approaches and different things to keep in mind. Picking your destination, always before you start playing. Picking how you're going to get to your destination, and you're going to walk up to it, walk down to it, dance around it. Making sure that you're resting or taking a breath after you get to your destination to make sure that it's heard as a clear ending of your statement before you kind of repeat. Think of your next destination for the next chord. And then the thing I left out there was making sure that you're always leading me, the listener, into the new chord change, into the downbeat of 1, rather than playing on the downbeat of 1. All this stuff is things that you should practice away from the track at first. Make sure you're comfortable. If you have to kind of be a little out of time at first, okay, that's fine. I'd rather you get comfortable with all these concepts and really making this happen before you start to try to play with a backing track. I would recommend just taking it a chord tone at a time. Work on your roots. You feel good about it, throw on the backing track. Try it out. You feel like you ran out of ideas, stop the backing track, work out some new ways to get to that root. Put it back on. Use it as the practice tool that it is. Then do that same thing for the 3rds, the 5ths, and do it again for alternating between the 5th and root and get that question answer phrasing going on. Now, if you want to learn more about this stuff, I'm going to be teaching a masterclass. I'm going to put the link down below at a discount, and I'm going to be sharing some other approaches to working on improvisation, along with analyzing, breaking down the solo at the beginning of the video. As always with those masterclasses, the tab notation is included, along with the backing track, which you guys already get for free at that link down below. And if you come to the masterclass, you get to take part in the live Q&A. Anyone who wants to check out this masterclass after it's aired, or you can't make it, that's fine. I film all of those masterclasses and I put them up the next night. So as long as you're enrolled, you can watch it again as many times as you want, whenever you want. All right, thanks for watching. I hope this helps you out. Check out the next video, and hopefully I'll see you in the masterclass.